Do you remember? It sounds like Samsung has different plans. Excuse me. It sounds like Samsung has been debating on what to do with these upgrade options because I mentioned maybe 2 days ago, I think it was on Wednesday, that with all these rise in costs, right? And for the putting the phone together, manufacturing it, and then they essentially pass the cost on to us, which sucks. But I discussed a couple of ways that they could alleviate the rise in cost for the consumer, at least at launch. Maybe not for the life of the device, for when they sell it, but at least during those first 2 weeks, they gotta help us out. If Samsung wants to move units, and I think that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to find ways to help the consumer out to purchase one of these phones, right? And they're going to have to. Stiff competition versus the iPhone Ultra. Uh, iPhone is going to sell a gazillion iPhone Ultras. I'm going to put out a short later today, later this evening, and it is jaw dropping how many units Apple is expecting to sell. But Samsung is kind of tweaking some, incentives for potential consumers to purchase this product. Now, going back to Wednesday, I mentioned Samsung. There was a leak from obviously an insider or somebody that works there is pushing this info out. Well, when Samsung does the free storage upgrade, so you can purchase a 256 gig model, and then they bump you up to 512 for free, right? Well, on Wednesday we heard that they were going to keep that but kind of modify it. So what they were going to do is you can get a half storage upgrade. Now what that means is if you purchase the 256, they're still going to give you the 512, but it's not going to be for free. On Wednesday the word was you were going to have to pay half of the difference. So if the difference was $400 difference, they would upgrade you to 512, but you would have to pay an extra $200. Now I don't know if that was going to be an option for users, because some users might be okay with just using a 256. Some users just want to get their foot in the door and don't want to have to pay an extra $200. I think that would probably be optional at checkout, right? They'll give you the option, hey, we'll upgrade you to the next storage tier for an extra $200, instead of 400. Like they're helping us out, which it is, but that was the story Wednesday. I get word today that that story was half true, no pun intended. So they're still keeping that. However, they are still going to offer a free storage upgrade. So I know you're wondering, well, what? They're they're going to offer a free storage upgrade, but they're still keeping you have to pay half for your storage upgrade? Yes. So here's what the plan is for Samsung. Now, this is for US buyers. I don't know, other regions are under consideration for doing this same strategy. Some regions might get a completely free storage upgrade. Some other regions around the world might get the upgrade where you have to pay half. But here's what they're doing in the United States. I know this for sure. What they're going to do is they're going to give you a free storage upgrade if you purchase the 256 gig model. So if you purchase the 256 Z Fold 8, they're going to bump you up to 512 for free. For free. Here's the catch. If you purchase the 512, you're going to have to pay half of the difference to go up to 1 terabyte. So they're going to do the free storage upgrade if you purchase the 256. So you'll buy a 256, they'll send you a 512 for the same price of a 256. And if you purchase the 512, I think here's what they're going to do at checkout. They're going to put that option in there. Hey, I know you're buying the 512. Do you want to upgrade to the 1 terabyte model for half of that price difference? What it is, I have no idea. I'm assuming it's going to be about $400. So you'll have the option at checkout if you buy the 512 to just stick with the 512, or they're going to let you upgrade to the 1 terabyte, but you got to pay I don't know, an extra $200. See what I'm saying? So that is the plan at the moment. Now, I wish it was free for everybody, but uh, I I don't know. I didn't plan on getting the. Well, I take that back. Well, now I was gonna say I need a 512. Well, I'm not gonna buy a fold. I'm gonna get a flip. But they don't offer the flip in the 1 terabyte. The flip is only coming in 256 and 512. The Fold 8 and the Fold 8 Ultra are coming in 256, 512, and 1 terabyte. So if you buy the flip, if you're interested in the flip like me, you'll get a free storage upgrade to the 512. So that's pretty nice. Definitely looking forward to that. But that is the trade-in offer that they're going to give U.S. buyers. I don't really know what to say. Like I think they kind of they split it right down the middle. Which, look, I don't work at Samsung. I don't see the numbers. I don't. They're doing what's best for them and the consumer. They're trying to meet us halfway. Because remember, Samsung Mobile, this is like their first loss in a fiscal year that they've had in, I think, ever. So they're losing money here. So they don't want to totally screw users and just be money hungry and penny pinching every single dime and penny on the table. But, you know, but they're trying to get people to purchase the device. Now, another way that I think, and we're not going to know this until launch day, but subscribe to the eSIM Studios channel, and I will cover this extensively on launch day. Another way that they can help users upgrade is give us higher trade-in values. So the price per device here for these new foldables are going to increase slightly. Well, see, slightly. They're going to increase. Well, if I'm going to trade in a Flip 6 for a new, if I'm going to trade in a Flip 7 for a new Flip 8, I think the new Flip 8 is, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a number, $1,400. Yikes. Well, instead of getting us $700 for last year's model, like they did last year, give us $1,000 for our trade-in, and then it makes it a little easier to pay $400 instead of $600 or $700. Like, they're going to need to help us out. I think they're aware of this. At least I would hope so. But we will see. We don't know. But there's no word on the trade-in values until launch day. So that's what I mean. Stick around to the channel. We're going to take a deep dive on launch day. We're going to go down trade-in values. We're going to go how much each device is. We're going to look at these devices at carriers. What carrier has the best deal if you want to go that route, because that's certainly an option if you want to take that route. So we shall see. I do have some other news here when it comes to the foldables. So hang on one second. They really were hoping foldables would be like $1,500 or less by now, thanks to manufacturing efficiencies and economics of scale. The component crisis hurts the viability of the form factor long term. Yeah, I would agree with that. Although I guess Apple throwing its hat in the ring will provide a stimulus that's pretty meaning. But boy, at this point, I think they were really hoping affordable phones would not be over $2,000. Correct. It's just simple analytics. The more expensive something, this doesn't go for every single item in every single industry, but typically, the more expensive something is, the less people that have the option to buy it or can buy it. You see what I'm saying? The higher you go on a phone. Look, a phone at this point, I think I discussed this yesterday. A phone at this point is not it comes down to wants and needs. You need a phone, all right, at this point. 10, 15 years ago, there was one, every now and then a person, I don't use a cell phone. Like, really? And now it's like, what are you trying to do? Disconnect from the world? Like, at this point, a phone is a need. However, do you need a brand new phone? Maybe you do. Maybe your phone's real shitty. Maybe it's got cracked screens. I get that. But If you sitting here with an S26 Ultra, Motorola Signature, OnePlus 15, Pixel 10 Pro, iPhone 17 Pro, do you really need a new phone? No, that's a want. And the more expensive that want is going to be, you're just going to eliminate people. So yeah, I know nobody saw, well, I'm not going to say nobody saw this coming, but, and this isn't a gradual incline with prices, right? Like over time, stuff gradually gets more expensive, right? But this is such a drastic increase um, in products and manufacturing, in supply, in everything, that I don't think anybody saw this coming. And yeah, I know that they're probably biting their nails, seeing how this launch goes. If you want my honest prediction, I don't think they're going to sell many. Uh, I believe, I think the Apple iPhone Ultra is going to sell a ton. Now that's going to be, we don't know the starting price. I think Apple at the very base model for the iPhone Ultra, which is what they're calling their iPhone Fold essentially. I think they're going to try to keep it around 2 grand, but you're looking at a fully loaded iPhone Ultra, like the 1 terabyte model, that's going to be closer to 3 grand than 2 grand. And people are still going to buy it. It's insane. It's their first foldable, highly anticipated device. It's going to blow Samsung foldables out of the water. It is what it is. I think everybody sees this coming. Even think Samsung sees this coming. I think what they're going to be shocked at is just how many few people purchase Samsung foldables. Now, out of the 3 foldables that Samsung's going to offer, my guess, look, the Flip is their highest selling foldable every year because it's the cheaper model. But I think the Z Fold 8, their wide fold, I think that's the most intriguing foldable. And in my opinion, I'm not a foldable person. I love the Flips, but I don't do the folds. And I've never really considered, I thought about, I got real close to trying one a couple years ago, and then we were at Best Buy, and I was gonna get one, and I was like, nah, I'm just gonna return it. I'm good. I think the I think the wide fold, the Z Fold 8, that's the first book style foldable that I kind of want to try. You know what I'm saying? So I think that might be the most intriguing device that they're offering. However, I don't think it's going to be their high seller. Maybe I'm wrong, and I could be wrong, right? But it's just so freaking expensive. I don't know. And everybody's attention is going to be on the Apple iPhone Ultra. It is what it is. You know, it's look, and Samsung might have to scrap a model or two. I don't know what they're going to do, but I think they're going to be shocked at just how many few people purchase these devices. I think their sales are going to plummet. I think the only chance Samsung has to having a decent sales record numbers for these models is on pre-order time. Is in pre-order. That's why I'm kind of shocked they're not doing the complete free storage upgrade. I think if they want people to get in these devices, they're going to have to incentivize users to purchase these things. Other than that, I just I just don't see a lot of people buying these. I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, I'm either going to import phones or keep heading up resale. I'm just not really vibing with only having Google, Apple, and Samsung to choose from. I guess a few Motorola's. I'm in the same boat as you. I feel the exact same way. I've never, well, I'm going to say I never imported a phone. That's a lie. Well, skip my memory. So very few, very few. Because I mean, look, our options haven't been always the best, but at this moment right now, it's the worst it's ever been. There's literally, especially in my case, where I'm kind of eliminating Pixel right now for the moment because of the 200 charging cycle thing. I just refuse to use a product where y'all know the story. Oh God, it bugs me. So I'm gonna take a stand, and not, my wife's gonna buy one, but I'm not. I'm not going to use one. So that eliminates my choices even further. So yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. I think my next purchase, well, not next, but instead of getting a OnePlus 16 at the end of the year, like in November, I'm going to go grab me an Oppo Find X10 Pro Max and do that. Look, you're right. I don't want to be boxed in to what I can use. I don't want the government playing games and limiting our choices. To be quite honest with you, so yeah, I'm gonna purchase outside the box this year. See how that goes. And that's why I'm so frustrated with Motorola. They have some really good options, but they only update two of their phones, the Razr Fold and the Signature. Other than that, they don't update shit. Like, I'm not touching a phone if they don't update it. Sorry. So um, they have some really good options at the mid range level that really frustrates me. Is the Flip 8 finally going to let you go front screen for anything you want without having to rely on Good Lock module? Yes, I heard that that is correct. That they're going to open it up this year to all apps. So that's what I've heard. Excuse me. The thing I don't understand about Samsung is that why they can't update the S22 to One UI 8.5. It should be fully capable of supporting One UI 8.5. I have no clue either. Yeah, I don't know. For as much as I like Samsung, they're just as guilty as Apple or any other big tech company phasing out their older devices. I mean, let's face it, they do want you to buy a new device. Now, I'm not saying that's solely the reason why they're not updating their phones, but I mean, it should be able to support it. So, what's your opinion on 2 terabyte phones? Will they be rare? Now they will. With the price, you know how expensive a 2 terabyte phone would be? Um, expensive. Like, so if an iPhone 18 Pro Max coming up was brand new, probably $2,000, 1 terabyte iPhone 18 Pro Max, probably $2,000. The 2 terabyte model would probably be $2,600. Yeah, that's see at that point you're just wait. Well, in my opinion, see I've I passed 128 gig a long time ago, and I've been on 256 gig, like the very minimum that I can use for about 2 years now, right? And I'm just now at the point, literally in the last 6 months, where anything I buy moving forward is going to be 512. Now, I think at some point I can see myself going to 1 terabyte, but I cannot see myself going over 1 terabyte. And hell, at this point, at this time, with these prices and the storage the way it is, I might just stick at 512 for a while because you can purchase external storage device like this and pop it on the back of your phone, and you could put a M.2 in here. I think it's a 22. What is it? A 2230, the little small ones, and you can. I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, I think that's the best way to go because um, it's going to be way too expensive for 2 terabytes.